Listen carefully. A man does not rebuild himself because life becomes easy. He rebuilds himself because the old version of him becomes too weak to carry the future he wants. One day, you look at your mind and realize it has been poisoned by distraction. You look at your body and realize it has been shaped by comfort. You look at your focus and realize it has been stolen by cheap pleasure, useless people, and meaningless noise. And then you look at your future, and you understand the cold truth. Nothing changes until you become dangerous to your own weakness. Machiavelli knew that power is never given to the confused man. Power belongs to the man who can control himself before he tries to control anything else. So before you rebuild your life, you must destroy the habits that made you easy to defeat. The late nights, the excuses, the emotional reactions, the need for approval, the addiction to being understood by people who do not even understand themselves. From this moment, you stop explaining your pain and start converting it into structure. You stop begging the world to see your value and begin building a version of yourself that cannot be ignored. Comment this phrase right now: I rise from zero. Because zero is not shame. Zero is clean ground. Zero means you are no longer loyal to the broken identity that kept you small. You are not here to repair a weak image. You are here to create a new weapon. Your mind will become a fortress. Your body will become proof. Your focus will become a blade. Your future will become the result of silent decisions made when nobody was watching. This is Stoicism, and here we do not romanticize weakness. We study discipline. We study power. We study the cold psychology of becoming untouchable. The world respects the man who does not need to be pushed twice. The man who disappears, rebuilds, and returns with eyes that no longer beg, hands that no longer shake, and a presence that makes people feel something has changed. Today, the old you loses authority. Today, your excuses are removed from the throne. Today, you begin again, not as a victim of what happened, but as the architect of what comes next. Number 1, reclaim your mind before the world owns it. Your first battlefield is not your body, your money, your enemies, or your past. Your first battlefield is your mind, because whoever controls your attention controls your direction, and whoever controls your direction controls your destiny. This is why weak men are easy to command. They react to every insult, chase every pleasure, obey every emotion, and call it freedom. But it is not freedom. It is slavery with better decoration. Machiavelli understood that the ruler who cannot control his own thoughts will always be ruled by someone else's strategy. So if you want to rebuild from scratch, you must become ruthless with what enters your mind. Stop feeding your brain cheap noise and expecting it to produce greatness. Stop watching people live while your own life waits for orders. Stop letting fear write your decisions before courage even gets a chance to speak. A powerful mind is not positive all the time. That is childish. A powerful mind is disciplined under pressure. It can feel pain without becoming chaotic. It can feel anger without becoming reckless. It can feel loneliness without crawling back to toxic comfort. Comment this now: my mind is my kingdom. Because that is exactly what it is. And every kingdom needs borders. Protect your thoughts like a ruler protects his throne. Do not allow weak people to rent space in your head. Do not allow old failures to become permanent laws. Do not allow temporary emotions to make lifelong decisions. The new you must think differently before he lives differently. Quietly, coldly, strategically. Every morning, train your mind to ask one question: what would the strongest version of me do today? Then obey the answer without negotiation. That is how the rebuild begins. Not with noise, not with drama, but with mental ownership. Because once your mind belongs to you again, the world loses its easiest weapon against you. Number 2, rebuild your body into proof. Your body is not just muscle and blood. Your body is evidence. It tells the world what you tolerate from yourself when nobody is watching. A weak body does not always mean a weak man, but a neglected body always reveals a neglected standard. And if you cannot command your own flesh, how will you command your future? Machiavelli would tell you that appearance is not everything, but it is never nothing. People judge what they see before they respect what you say. Your posture speaks before your mouth opens. Your discipline shows before your story is heard. Your energy announces whether you are a man of control or a man controlled by appetite. So rebuild your body not for vanity, not for applause, but because your body is the uniform of your self-respect. Train when you do not feel like training. Eat like a man who has a mission. Sleep like recovery is part of war. Walk like your life has direction. Stop treating your body like a trash bin for stress, boredom, and emotional weakness. Every lazy choice is a vote for the old you. Every disciplined choice is a brick in the new empire. The world does not fear potential. It respects proof, and your body must become proof that you are no longer available for defeat. Comment this phrase, "My discipline is visible," because it should be, not loudly, not arrogantly, but undeniably. When you rebuild your body, something darker happens inside you. You begin to trust yourself again. You stop making promises you break. You stop looking for confidence in other people's approval. You earn it in sweat, in repetition, in silence, in the private pain weak men avoid. Your body teaches your mind obedience. It teaches patience. It teaches aggression under control. It teaches you that discomfort is not a threat. It is a doorway. And once a man becomes comfortable with discomfort, he becomes hard to manipulate. Pleasure loses power over him. Insults lose power over him. Temptation loses power over him. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming dangerous to the habits that made you soft. Build your body until your reflection no longer reminds you of surrender. Build it until your presence says what your mouth never has to explain. I came back from nothing, and I am not going back. Number 3. Turn your focus into a weapon. Your focus is the weapon the modern world is trying to steal from you. Not because your attention is worthless, but because it is priceless. Every notification, every cheap pleasure, every useless argument, every endless scroll is a small thief entering the palace of your mind. And the weak man welcomes the thief, then wonders why his life feels empty. Understand this clearly. A distracted man is not free. He is being directed without realizing it. His desires are planted. His emotions are triggered. His time is harvested. His ambition is diluted until he becomes too tired to build anything serious. Machiavelli would not fear the man with dreams. He would fear the man with focus, because focus turns ordinary energy into domination. When you can sit alone and work while the world screams for your attention, you become rare. When you can ignore pleasure today for power tomorrow, you become dangerous. When you can stay locked on one mission while others chase 10 illusions, you become the man they cannot predict, cannot control, and cannot easily defeat. So rebuild your focus from scratch. Do not ask your mood for permission. Do not wait for the perfect hour. Do not pretend that confusion is the same as planning. Choose the mission, remove the poison, guard the hours, then execute. Your focus must become cold, not emotional, not dependent on motivation. Cold like a blade. You wake up and know what matters. You sit down and attack the task. You finish before you complain. You move before doubt gathers an army. Comment this now. My focus is a blade, because that is what you are sharpening. Every minute you control makes you stronger. Every distraction you deny makes you harder to weaken. Every hour spent in silence builds a future that noisy people will never understand. The world rewards the man who can stay with the difficult thing long enough to extract its power. Fitness requires focus. Money requires focus. Respect requires focus. Reinvention requires focus. Without focus, your potential becomes decoration. With focus, even your pain becomes material. You take rejection and turn it into fuel. You take loneliness and turn it into depth. You take humiliation and turn it into discipline. That is dark psychology against yourself, not to destroy your soul, but to command your lower nature. You manipulate your weakness before the world manipulates it for you. You create rules. You create consequences. You create an environment where the strongest version of you has no excuse but to rise. Stop calling yourself unfocused as if it is your identity. It is a habit, and habits can be conquered. From today, your attention is not for sale. Your energy is not public property. Your mission is not open for debate. Focus like a man rebuilding an empire from ashes, because that is exactly what you are doing. The old life dies each time you choose the mission over the mood, work over weakness, and future over noise forever. Number 4. Cut off everything that keeps you weak. If you are rebuilding from scratch, you must accept one ruthless truth. Not everything can come with you. Some habits must die. Some people must lose access. Some pleasures must be treated like enemies wearing perfume. The weak version of you survived by attaching itself to whatever felt easy, familiar, and emotionally comfortable. But the powerful version of you cannot be built in the same environment that trained you to stay small. Machiavelli would never rebuild a kingdom while allowing traitors to sit at the table. So why are you rebuilding your life while still entertaining the same distractions, the same toxic voices, the same lazy routines, and the same private addictions that destroyed your discipline in the first place? You cannot become untouchable while staying emotionally available to everything that touches your weakness. You need distance. You need silence. You need standards so sharp that even your old self becomes afraid to approach you. Look at your life coldly. Who drains you? What weakens your focus? What makes you break promises to yourself? What makes you feel powerful for 1 minute and ashamed for the rest of the day? That is not pleasure. That is control. And a man who wants power must stop calling his chains comfort. Comment this now. I remove what weakens me. Say it like a decision, not a wish. Because the moment you begin removing weakness, people will call you different. Good, let them. They liked the version of you they could predict. They respected your potential only when it remained unused. They were comfortable around your weakness because it made them feel safe. But when you start rebuilding, your silence becomes threatening, your discipline becomes offensive, your distance becomes mysterious, and your growth becomes a mirror they do not want to face. Do not explain the change. Explanation is how weak men ask permission to evolve. You do not need permission to outgrow a room that was never built for your future. Cut the late-night scrolling. Cut the useless conversations. Cut the emotional begging. Cut the habit of returning to people who only value you when you are broken enough to need them. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect with a backbone. The future you want has a price. And that price is the death of everything that keeps pulling you backward. Every king must choose between comfort and control. Every warrior must choose between discipline and decay. Every man rebuilding from zero must choose between being liked by his weakness or respected by his future. Choose the future. Choose the lonely path if the crowded one leads nowhere. Choose silence over drama. Choose structure over chaos. Choose the pain that builds you over the pleasure that sells you back to failure. Once you cut off what weakens you, your energy returns, your vision clears, and your power starts breathing again. Number 5. Build a new identity in silence. Now that you have cut off what weakens you, you must build the most dangerous thing a man can own, a new identity. Not a mood, not a phase, not a temporary version you wear for a week, because pain inspired you, an identity, the kind that does not ask for attention, the kind that does not collapse when nobody claps, the kind that quietly rewrites your behavior until the world has no choice but to notice the difference. Most men fail because they try to change their life while still thinking like the person who destroyed it. They want a stronger body with a lazy identity. They want respect with a needy identity. They want wealth with a careless identity. They want focus with a distracted identity. It cannot happen. The man you are becoming must be installed inside your mind before he appears in your reality. Machiavelli understood the power of image, but image without structure is costume. You are not here to wear power. You are here to become it. So ask yourself, how does the rebuilt version of me walk? How does he speak? What does he refuse? What does he protect? What does he do when temptation knocks? What does he do when loneliness visits? What does he do when the old life calls his name? Then live the answer, quietly, repeatedly, mercilessly. Comment this now. I am not my old self, because that sentence is a boundary. You are not the man who begged for approval. You are not the man who wasted nights and blamed mornings. You are not the man who needed pain before he respected time. You are becoming the man who moves by standards, not feelings. And this is where cold power begins, when people cannot emotionally drag you back into your old role, when old pleasures cannot seduce you into old weakness, when your past can knock, but it no longer has keys. Build routines that prove your identity daily. Train, study, work, save, plan, stay silent. Upgrade your circle, upgrade your speech, upgrade your self-respect. Every private action is a vote for the man you are constructing. And one day, without announcing it, you will realize the old you has become a stranger. That is the goal, not to improve the old prison, but to walk out of it completely. Number 6. Design your future like a strategist. Your future will not become powerful because you hope for it. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is what weak men hold when they refuse to build a plan. If you want to rebuild from scratch, you must stop treating the future like a dream and start treating it like territory. Territory must be studied, protected, expanded, conquered. Machiavelli would never walk into war without knowing the map, the enemy, the resources, the timing, and the weakness of every gate. Yet most men walk into life with no plan, no direction, no system, and then act surprised when they are captured by bills, pressure, regret, and ordinary survival. Do not become that man. Your future must be designed before the world designs it for you. Sit alone and look at your life like a ruler looking at a kingdom after a collapse. What must be rebuilt first? Your health, your money, your skill, your discipline, your environment, your name. Be honest. Do not decorate the damage. Study it. A strategic man does not cry over ruins. He measures them, learns why they fell, and builds stronger walls. Comment this now. I build what others only wish for. Because wishing is cheap. Building is expensive. It costs comfort. It costs laziness. It costs fake friendships. It costs the old identity that wanted success without sacrifice. Your future will demand payment every day, and if you refuse to pay in discipline, you will pay in regret. So build a vision that scares your weakness, not some soft fantasy. A vision with numbers, habits, deadlines, skills, and consequences. Know what you want your body to become. Know what your mind must study. Know what your money must do. Know what your mornings are for. Know what your nights are no longer allowed to destroy. The man without a vision becomes available to everyone else's agenda. He becomes the helper of other people's dreams, the audience of other people's victories, the servant of other people's plans. But the man with a future becomes selective. He does not answer every call. He does not attend every drama. He does not waste energy proving himself to people who are not part of the empire he is building. He moves with quiet calculation. He plants in silence. He waits without fear. He strikes when preparation meets opportunity. This is how you become dangerous, not by acting aggressive, but by becoming organized. A man with a plan is hard to distract. A man with standards is hard to seduce. A man with direction is hard to manipulate. Build your future like your name depends on it, because it does. Write the mission. Repeat the mission. Protect the mission when weakness tries to bargain. The world forgets men who drift. It remembers men who decide. And from this moment, you are not drifting. You are designing with cold patience. Every quiet day adds weight to the crown you are forging. Number 7. Master money, energy, and time. A man rebuilding from scratch must stop treating money, energy, and time like separate things. They are connected. Waste one, and the others begin to bleed. Waste time, and your money stays weak. Waste energy, and your focus collapses. Waste money, and your future becomes dependent on people who control you. Machiavelli understood resources. He knew that power is not only courage, power is supply, power is preparation. Power is the ability to survive storms without begging enemies for shelter. So become serious with your resources. Track where your money goes. Track where your hours disappear. Track who drains your energy and calls it friendship. The man who cannot manage resources will destroy opportunities. Do not dream about wealth while spending like a slave to impulse. Do not talk about greatness while giving your best energy to entertainment and your weakest energy to your mission. This is how men lose quietly. Not in one dramatic failure, but in small leaks repeated daily. Comment this now. I protect my power. Because that is what you are doing. Every dollar saved with discipline is power. Every hour protected from distraction is power. Every conversation avoided because it adds nothing to your future is power. Build systems, set limits, live below your ego, invest in skills before appearance. Let others look rich while you become free. Let others chase status while you build stability. Cold power is not showing everyone you have money. Cold power is needing fewer people to rescue you. When your time obeys you, your focus sharpens. When your energy is protected, work deepens. When money is controlled, confidence becomes quieter and stronger. Rebuild your resources like a fortress. A man who owns time, protects energy, and commands money cannot be trapped. Number 8. Become untouchable under pressure. The final test of your rebuild is not how you act when life is calm. Any man can look disciplined when nothing challenges him. The real test begins when pressure enters the room. When you are tired, when you are insulted, when progress is slow, when the old temptations return wearing a new face. This is where most men surrender. They do not lose because they are weak once. They lose because pressure exposes the identity they never truly changed. But you are not rebuilding for comfort. You are rebuilding for command. A Machiavellian man understands that pressure is information. It shows where the walls are thin. It reveals which emotions still own you. It exposes which habits were only pretending to be dead. So do not fear pressure. Study it. When life hits you, do not collapse into drama. Get quiet, observe, adjust, strike again. The world is full of people who can be controlled with one insult, one rejection, one delay, one lonely night. They are predictable. They are emotional doors without locks. You must become different. You must become the man who does not reveal his wound to every passerby. The man who feels pain but does not make pain his ruler. The man who hears disrespect but does not waste his crown arguing with fools. Comment this now. Pressure makes me powerful. Because it does if you use it correctly. Every difficult moment is training your nervous system to obey a higher command. Every disappointment is teaching you not to depend on fantasy. Every betrayal is teaching you to read people better. Every failure is sharpening your next move. This is cold power psychology. You stop asking why life is hard, and you start asking what this hardship is trying to build inside you. Untouchable does not mean emotionless. It means unavailable for destruction. It means your anger has discipline, your sadness has direction, your silence has weight, your comeback has strategy. People will try to pull the old version out of you. They will test your patience. They will question your change. They will provoke your ego. Let them waste their energy. You protect yours. Stand still inside the storm. Let the world see that you are no longer a man who breaks on command. You are the storm learning how to rule itself without asking permission again. Now, listen closely, because this is where the rebuild becomes your new life. You have taken back your mind. You have disciplined your body. You have sharpened your focus. You have cut off what weakens you. You have designed a future instead of begging fate to be kind. But none of it matters if you return to the world needing applause for every private victory. The strongest men do not rebuild for attention. They rebuild for authority. They rebuild because they are tired of being easy to read, easy to distract, easy to provoke, and easy to defeat. Machiavelli understood that true power is not loud. It is controlled. It is the calm face in a room full of panic. It is the silent decision that changes everything before anyone notices. It is the man who no longer explains his discipline to people still loyal to their excuses. From this moment, you do not go back to the old life looking for acceptance. You return with standards. You return with patience. You return with a controlled mouth, a trained body, a guarded mind, and a future that no longer depends on emotional permission. People may not understand your silence. Good. Let them misunderstand. They may call you cold. Let them. Cold is better than careless. They may say you changed. Let that be the evidence that the burial was successful. The old you was available to everything. The new you is selective. The old you reacted. The new you observes, the old you chased, the new you builds, the old you feared being alone. The new you uses solitude as a throne room. Comment this now. I return untouchable. Say it like a vow carved into stone, because your comeback is not revenge through noise. Your comeback is revenge through structure. They expected you to stay broken, distracted, emotional, and predictable. Instead, you became strategic. You became harder to tempt, harder to fool, harder to control. This is the final law of rebuilding from scratch. Never trust the version of you that only appears when life is easy. Build a version that survives pressure, boredom, loneliness, rejection, and delay. Build a man who keeps moving when motivation dies. Build a man whose habits protect him from his moods. Build a man whose future is so important that small pleasures lose their throne. And when you rise, do not announce it. Let your presence speak. Let your results speak. Let your calmness disturb the people who used to control you through reaction. This is Stoicism. If this message reached the part of you that is ready to rebuild from zero, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And before you leave, comment one final phrase. The old me is gone. Then disappear into the work and return as proof. And now, before you leave, understand this. Rebuilding yourself is not a moment. It is a war you choose every morning. Your mind must stay guarded. Your body must stay disciplined. Your focus must stay sharp. Your future must stay protected. If this message struck something inside you, do not let it die as emotion. Turn it into action, like this video. Subscribe to Stoicism. Turn on notifications, because the next lesson will sharpen you even more. And comment this final phrase below. I am the proof. Now disappear into silence, rebuild, and return unstoppable.